on this computer, yes. All right. So before Kahzgul, when you told me you were going to be late, I had made this sweet whiskey sour. I don't have that with me right now. I made it for me and my wife. She got me like this cool cocktail set and with like the peelers so I could do like a whole thing. But I drank all of that and I didn't want to make another one. Um,
No worries,
I
man.
did, I did go out. I got myself some Francis Connor, which I haven't found in a long ass time. So cheers to you.
Good stuff. I got delirium tremens or yeah, delirium tremens right now. So quality
I've
brew.
had it. I've had it. I don't know where it's from, but I've definitely had it.
It's Belgian
We
OG.
uh we just moved and we don't have a liquor store right near us. We just have like a little convenience store
Mhm.
that just has Dogfish Head and it's great. I love it, but that's all they have. It's that or Miller Lite.
That's very funny.
So I left for work early today so I could go to the liquor store to get champagne for New Year's Eve.
Right? Yep.
And I was like, oh, hey, let me get a six pack of something half decent. Um, so I'm going to get right into it. My first thought, Conquest just started 2 days ago, right? I
Yeah.
know
Do you hang on before you start? It's you want me to show my feet during the interview, right? Like from
yeah.
OnlyFans?
Do you want my feed?
Was it? I wasn't sure whose feet. What we're doing here?
I can, that's
Oh,
fine.
you're
Mine
full
are,
on. You're ready. You're ready to go.
I can do it. I don't wear shoes ever, like
Really?
ever.
What
So
happens when
I
you have to
teach,
like drive?
well, I wear shoes when I drive, but like I teach karate, so I'm almost always barefoot.
Already
Um,
proven a liar. That's all I'm saying.
that's fair. Um, but during the pandemic, we had a treadmill and I actually destroyed my feet because I would run on it barefoot. Like
Fair
I
enough.
don't, I hate shoes. I wear sandals in the middle of the winter. My wife thinks I'm crazy. My in-laws
You
think
are
I'm
crazy.
crazy,
I agree with your wife.
but she's in there.
I'm a shoes all the time guy, except during the pandemic, I stopped wearing shoes. Same thing. I just barefoot around the house. Why not? And uh, and then when I had to go back into the office, it was really weird having shoes on again.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I don't really have an office, so I have a mat.
You have a Mojo Dojo Casa house.
I have a Mojo Dojo Casa house. I dressed up as Ken for Halloween. If you really are interested in the picture, I'll send you the picture. I'll
That's
send you the
fantastic.
picture later. All because I also teach in school and the whole fourth grade team, they were like, oh, we're all going to be Barbie. And I was like, okay, great. I'll buy a Ken wig. And I already have the shirt. So sure, why not?
And you're good.
So I'm good to go. I have the horse amulet somewhere in here, but I don't fucking know. It was great. For 20 bucks on Amazon from some like Chinese warehouse, totally
Love
fine.
it.
All right. So first thought, Conquest started 2 days ago. I know
Yep.
you and I talk about Conquest often. I know you don't like to count your burritos early, but what 2 days in, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm glad that Ewoks is only 20 battles. That's honestly huge because the my light side Mandalorians suck balls.
So I got my first win today with BAM lead and just like G12's BAM lead and someone else. Sabine
What's
is
your Paz
R2,
Vizsla at?
G11 and 3 stars.
I mean, G11's not, that's a lot of Cairo already.
I try to get them to G11 right away so that when I actually finish the farm, it
You
doesn't
fucking rich
feel
bastards,
as
man.
bad. Yeah.
Living the luxury life. I go to
No,
G and then I sort of like pump the brakes.
we've got a few guys in our guild who already have like bow, and I don't. And they're messaging me on Discord. They're like, "What is the math for the this and the blah blah blah? And how do
I
you
don't fucking
do
care.
this thing?" Right. And I go, I don't know. I've told you this a million fucking times. I literally made you a spreadsheet so you can do this yourself. Like, why do you keep fucking asking me?
Because it's easier. It's just
It's
lazy. Lazy wins all the time. The only reason I do my conquest guide, fun backstory for you, is that I would do that anyway, just for myself. Like I want to break down what are the
yeah.
teams, what's efficient, how to beat this. I got to write it down because I won't remember, you know. So I was like, I'm writing this all down anyway. And so I
You
asked
might
my
as
guys,
well.
like, are you guys going to find this useful at all? And they were like, yeah, dude, you do a guide? Hell yeah. And I was like, okay, I'll put it online and see if any, yeah, people love it. So
I think we kind of had a similar origin story because I was like sitting at a computer board on Zoom for school, right? And my
okay.
students, I'm special ed, and I am, but also my students, um, they wouldn't show up on Zoom, so I'd be sitting there bored. So I would like just do math and whatever, and I was doing it for myself, and I was like, let's just see what happens, and I'll put it on Reddit, and if somebody finds it useful, great, and if they don't, then like, okay, like who gives a shit?
What's funny is
And
like I actually have a degree in math, but I
I
don't
don't.
use it regularly.
Well, I do fourth grade math.
Yeah. Mine was
Like,
for advanced linear interpolation,
yeah, that's
which
way
is
above me.
used for smoothing out textures in computer rendering. I was
That's
specifically for computing, so it's not. People use it for all kinds of things, determining airplane wreckage sites and whatever. I don't know how to do all that so much, but computer graphics was the thing, and this was 25 years ago. I mean, I'm fucking old, so. But I don't really bust out my math stuff very often.
no, just the dry wit. Um, and you like to call me out, which I honestly appreciate.
Well, good.
Sometimes because I think for me at least, when I'm on the subreddit, sometimes people are like, "Oh, Egnards is such a dick," and like he can never be told that he's
I
wrong.
think
And
you think people think you're a dick way more than they do. It's
I,
just
I
me.
hear I hear it sometimes. You know what like what is it? It's marketing, right? Where like if one person says it, then 50 people are thinking the same thing.
Maybe, but
Uh,
if they don't say anything, their thoughts don't matter.
that's fair.
It's I treat it like voting, right? If you don't vote, then your opinion doesn't matter as far as the government's concerned. They only care about the people who vote.
That's true.
You're way off base.
That's
But on Reddit, if you're not going to reply to a comment, you're not going to add your own 50 cents, your opinion effectively doesn't exist.
doesn't mean shit. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean shit. Um, but like I appreciate it because I say this to people all the time. Like, I don't care if you disagree with me. Just do it in an adult manner, right? Like if you're going to personally attack me, then fuck you. I'm going to come right back at you. But if you're going to
Yeah.
say, hey, you're wrong because of this, and here's why you're wrong, I might still disagree with you, but I'm saying, all right, hey, we can have this disagreement, and we can be better for it.
It's a secret sauce of society that I feel like the internet doesn't encourage very well. And that's, just talking to people about stuff. You can make your case, but that doesn't preclude their case,
Yeah,
you know?
and that's kind of the purpose here, right? Like, so I feel like I'm cheating because I was, Merchant Deer, the guy I spoke to first, is somebody that I know and I've talked to, and we have like a relationship, and you're somebody that I know and I talk to, and has a good rapport on the subreddit. And the whole idea originally was like, let me talk to some of the people that maybe don't like advanced, and get their story, and get people to see that they're also people. Um, but I will also say that I am surprised that it did not take any pulling of your leg to do this. I was like, oh, let me do a couple of them first, and then I'll message him and be like, hey, how can I convince you to do this thing with me?
Now,
I don't know if
listen,
it'll go anywhere.
I'm a union actor. I've been acting professionally for 23 years, I think now. You wouldn't know me from, you might know me from Agents of Shield. This is true. I was background for enough episodes that people recognized me and
And
called
maybe
me
you've
like,
seen some.
you're on the show.
I did watch Agents of Shield.
So season
Um,
4, they're in like the alternate reality where they're all living in a bunker.
oh, I hated that season.
Well, I spent a lot of time in the map room with some maps. When Coulson got put in charge, I gave him like the approving nod in the hallway. That was my big scene. I had just
the
the
quick one.
only one on camera was me. It was great. And
I actually,
and then I carried a dead body or two.
I gotta say, one of my favorite actors, Bruce Campbell. Has anyone ever told you that you look like a Bruce Campbell?
No,
Because
but I'll take it. I shaved today. I don't know if you can tell. I usually get homeless Jake Gyllenhaal.
that's what you were telling me a few days ago. And
I get that one a lot. My hair's a
yeah,
little long now though, so this is pretty long for me. I need to get a cut.
take the compliment because he's one of my favorite actors.
I love Bruce Campbell.
Um,
He does the best beating yourself to death with your own hand of anyone who's ever done it.
which is the first R-rated movie I ever saw. I was like 5 years old, and my brother had uh, I was allowed to see PG-13 movies, and my brother
Oh,
was like, "No, it's PG-13. It's fun," and that was a lie. It should
yeah.
be PG-13. It's not horrible, but that was a lie. And
Well, they shoot a shotgun. It shoots his hand off with a shotgun. There's some dismemberment. The chainsaw
yeah,
does some
Army
more.
of Darkness is what, early '90s, so there was some of that stuff
Yeah,
was okay.
it was all
So
practical, so it looked,
it's fine.
fine-ish. The
I
weird
actually
dancing skeleton scene made no sense. That's right.
wasn't. I was 5. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit.
I saw
Um,
Jaws. Jaws was my first R-rated movie. I was at my friend's house. I was in kindergarten. His big brother was watching it, and we just sat there and we were like,
what the fuck?
I don't think I blinked for, the whole run of the movie. And then it ended, and I was like, I'm never going swimming again. And then years later, I was on the swim team. So what do you know?
I I had totally off the topic of movies, but like I remember watching like a 2020 when I was like 6 or 7 about beef, and it's the same kind of shit. Like for 3 years, I don't think I had a hamburger. Like
Hmm.
just because some 3-year-old died because of E. coli, and obviously it's sad, but like as a 7-year-old, I'm just like, oh, all hamburgers are going to give you E.
Yeah,
coli,
don't
so
read The
obviously,
Jungle.
yeah, no. I think we read it in high school. Um,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
so right now, going back because to some extent I want to try and keep this some semblance of the game. Conquest, I'm happy about the Ewok. I hope that it stays the same. I hope people shut up. I hope that that's on purpose and they just like copy and pasted that shit. Uh,
I think it is. I feel like it is. In the past, when they've had mistakes like that, the number out of number is what
is the
ranked
correct one
winning, and the text description was what was wrong. And they,
because right
by the
now,
way, they made another mistake in that your first reward is Dark Trooper Moff Gideon summon again, and not Darth Bane.
it's
So they're
funny.
giving us the wrong
didn't even
character with
notice.
that.
I didn't even notice. I when I play like I go through and I just try to do it as quickly as possible in the morning and like get it all over with. I know you try to like vary
Well,
your
I get the
teams.
feeling you don't actually like the game.
I don't. I don't. You know what's funny? We have this guy in our guild. I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to call him out. He's not known or anything, but he had an issue with his Apple account a few days ago, and he was like, "Fuck this! I quit. Like I'm done. Apple says I can't get my ID back for 5 days. Like I'm totally over it. See you guys, Egnards. I'm sorry, man. Like I love you, but like whatever."
5 days.
And 2 days ago, he comes back and he goes, "So I think I still really like the game. So I'll be back in 2 days once Apple gets me my ID. So please don't kick me out of the guild because I really do like it." And I think that that's my relationship with the game to some extent. Like, like I feel like
Right.
I do enjoy it for the most part, but I want my time respected.
Oh, I have an unstable internet connection, just so you know.
I was talking to someone in Australia it was jumpy all over the place. Like
Mine is a professional, like fiber optic connection. It just fucking shits the bed sometimes.
sometimes, so I just like if my time, like I know you are free to play through and through. A week ago, you're like, oh my god, you're finally free to play, like great, like never spend any money. I want to spend money.
Wait,
I'm
hang
okay
on.
with
Whoa. Let's back up. I'm not opposed to spending money in concept. This is a game that I've played for years. I love that it exists. If I thought something was actually worth spending money on,
you would.
I would spend money on it. And for the previous 7 years, I've been like, God, I wish
You
the
just haven't
pricing
felt
wasn't
like it.
so fucking disgusting. It's just gross. Like they priced the whole game at like $30,000 to unlock everything. And that's an insane price for a video game for me. And so any small fraction of that seems insane to me also.
Seems
But
ridiculous.
yeah, but recently there was a time when I actually emailed them and I was like, can you guys just put some cosmetic shit up that I can buy for $10 just to support the game? But
But
like
not
not,
in like a douchey
I don't
kind of
want to
way.
feel like I'm wasting my money on bullshit, like, 200 crystals for $10 or whatever, because that just seems like that feels like a waste. But if I'm getting like a unique portrait, I would feel okay with it, even though it doesn't affect the gameplay. And they never wrote me back.
Yeah, of
Um,
course they didn't.
but with the advent of the Lightspeed bundles, I feel like some of those, not all of them, but some of those I feel are worthwhile. And I think
Yeah,
if I were starting the game fresh now,
you would buy
the
them.
finalizer bundle I would buy fucking immediately.
I have
And
had,
I mean that thing's such a value. Although I would advise anyone actually starting the game right now, play
to
the
not.
game to level 85 without buying anything. I know the temptation to buy the hyperspeed bundle is really big, but make sure you can hack the goddamn patience needed for the game. Because I bet a lot of people log in at level 30, they're like, fuck this, I buy the hyperspeed bundle. That's $50 and it buys you 1/4000th of the game.
And
And
you
then you're
give
like,
up.
oh man, everything's really slow after this. And you give
I
up.
had
And I don't
I
want
had
people
bought
to
it
give
at
up.
its
I
original
want people to have
price.
fun.
I bought it at its $100, and I was already 4 million
The hundred
GP, which
bucks.
the $100. I dropped $100. Well, it was around Christmas, and so as teaching karate and going to school or working in school, I get a lot of gift cards around the holidays, like a lot of them. Visa gift cards, Amazon gift cards. So I'd say 90 to 95
Oh,
percent of
yeah.
my spending in this game is that. It's like, oh, I have an Apple gift card, whatever,
Gotcha.
or oh, I
Gotcha.
have an Amazon gift card. Let me convert it, and then whatever. But I bought it at 4 million GP, which seems like nothing now. But at the time, I'd say like 6 or 7 was like the maximum. And it was worth it, but it was also like, okay, I got this, and now I'm done. All right, great, $100 spent. I did everything with it. But I would agree with you because anytime I played like an MMO or something like that, if you get a character already, you have no idea how to use them. You have no idea how to play. You have no
Well,
idea
and
what's
not only
going
that,
on.
but I'm of the opinion, yeah, oh, for sure. And if your game is so shitty that people will pay you money to play less of it, that's not a good game. That's not a game anyone should be paying money for.
That's fair. That's very fair, and
You know?
it's sad, but those are the features
Are you
that I
getting
would
this?
pay
I'm
for.
totally breaking up on.
No, I get the audio at least. Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
great. Yeah, it's not my Wi-Fi because that's showing strong connection. So it's my actual internet is just doing poop right now.
every morning I have Optimum. I don't care. Every morning I come down here and my Wi-Fi is not working. A few days ago, I had to like tether my phone so my wife could work because she works from home. So I had to have my phone in. This is like our little home office, and I had to like have it over there by her so that she could work. And I was like, thank God I'm at home because there's no way that you would be able to right now.
Yeah.
Um, so my other thing,
Yeah, well, this is like the time of day when I guess my neighbor downloads all his porn or something. So
who does that anymore? You have streaming.
I don't know, man. But my internet always is crap between like 4 and 7. It's always kind of crap.
I would. This is the only week of the year that I'm home at this time. I I wouldn't know.
This is your normal martial arts time.
This is. I mean, well, that's not fair. I'm thinking about your time, like 4 to 7. For me, it's what
Oh
eight,
yeah.
9 o'clock. So yeah, 9 o'clock I'd be home. But 4 to 7 I'd be there, and I have no idea. It's just being with school being out for the holidays. So my other thing, I gotta tell you, honestly, we've talked for a long time. I know we're very oppositional on Jar Jar, and there's a lot of people on the subreddit that I talk to, right? Like, talk to you, talk to Merchant, I talk to Vance, I talk to Hazard, I talk to all these guys, and you kind of get like a mental picture of everybody that you kind of talk to some extent. And your opposition to Jar Jar, I'm like, man, this is like a 50 to 55-year-old like black man that's seen some shit. So because everything that you've given me is um very big on the racism part of it.
Well, so a little background on me, so you know where I'm coming from. Look, I know I'm a white guy, but I'm a Jewish guy
Okay.
from Oakland. So growing up, I was one of 8 white kids in my middle school of 300 people.
Hmm.
You know, all my friends are black. So I'm very sensitive to the issues, right?
So you grew up in an
And
environment that was more
it,
more like that,
Yeah,
or
just
more,
racially
yeah.
aware, you know,
Okay,
and you grow up as a white person in that environment, you grow up aware that there are things you cannot say. It's not okay to
absolutely.
behave in this way. It's not okay to say these things. You just know. And if you don't know that, you're going to get your ass beat. So, you know, there were a couple of kids who thought they were clever and would, you know, they'd get around the rules by quoting lyrics or something, and they got their ass beat. And I saw that and I was like, nobody wants any part of that. So I learned how to be respectful and polite. And again, I don't ever want to insult anybody. These are all my
100%.
friends, you know? So I just got sensitive to it. And as a result, I was very much included in
Hmm.
the conversations. A common refrain would be, you know, when the white man, oh, not you, you know, the other white man, right? In
Hmm.
conversations. So I was almost like a fly on the wall sometimes. And I knew I couldn't chime in, right? This is not my conversation to be
It's just where
having.
you go, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
feel a little uncomfortable having this conversation here because again, I'm not the aggrieved party, but I was very sensitive to it. And when I saw Phantom Menace, and I was in college at the time, we waited out overnight to get tickets. I saw it at the Man Fox Theater in Westwood, which was the premier theater. Fantastic theater, and it was a great atmosphere. I mean, people were literally doing cartwheels in the aisle, dressed as stormtroopers,
Yeah.
lightsabers everywhere. We were really excited. And then we watched the movie, and the credits roll, and some guy in the back yells, "What the fuck?" And that's kind of how we all felt, you know. It was really, really weird. And a big part of that, first off, just from a filmmaking standpoint, the pacing of the film is bizarre. The pod racing
Yes.
scene is the climax of the half,
Yes.
and it has almost no bearing on the actual plot. I could talk about this for hours. I work in TV. I'm an editor. That's my job. But that aside, the racial element was really disturbing to myself, but also a lot of my friends. And again, in LA, not nearly as many black people down here. This is just me talking with my white friends. But
Hmm.
we were all like, that was cringy
What the
you
fuck?
know, yeah, like what the fuck? That was not appropriate. It was not cool. It was really bad. It was poorly written. There was so much like really bad fan service. There was
Yeah.
stuff that made no sense. Darth Vader made C3PO. That's stupid. Metachlorians give you the force. That's stupid. And some of it
It's
was
like
so
the
stupid they
beginning.
walked it back later and retconned it. But at the time we were watching, we were like, what the fuck did they do to Star Wars? We all grew up on this shit. We loved it. I saw Return of the Jedi in the theater, the original run. You
Yeah.
know, this was my jam. But full disclosure, we all saw the special editions and saw how Lucas fucked those up.
So
So
those are the ones that
we
I
all
grew
were
up
like
with.
a little prepared. Yeah, we were all a little prepared for maybe Greedo shoots first. You know, maybe this
I
is the film version of that. And it kind of was. It was just poor decisions.
I've seen the originals, but
I'll
obviously,
illustrate an example. Oh, sorry. You go ahead. You
no.
froze
Yeah,
for a second,
so
so I thought you were letting me talk.
I have seen the originals. I obviously, you're not as much older than I am than you lead to believe sometimes, but um, I obviously am younger. Yeah, so I'm 36. The way that you made it seem was like, oh, I'm in
You're
my
like a
mid
child.
50s, yeah. But I saw the originals, but I obviously grew up with the special editions, and I grew up like watching it. I saw all the special editions in the theaters, but I grew up watching it on TBS on like New Year's when they would do the trilogy like all the way straight
The
through, and I'd
TBS
sit
ones
in
were the
my.
right ones.
So yeah, I watched those too, but like the special editions I grew up, I actually saw in the theaters. Um, when Phantom Menace
Yeah.
came out, I was probably in like seventh, maybe eighth grade, and where I grew up,
You were the prime
predom-
candidate for it.
exactly. So for me, I understand the Jar Jar, like I 100% understand the racism aspects, and like I've said to you a million times, I get that 100%. I never want to take that away. Like I agree that he's problematic, um, but my reasons for having in the game are completely different.
Yeah. And
Uh,
I'll add, by the way, it's not just Jar Jar. The Phantom Menace is a problematic film for racist reasons. The
yes,
entire Trade Federation is a white guy making fun of Asian people.
yes,
You know? Darth Maul's entire reason for being evil for the first 2/3 of the film is that he looks scary. His race is scary.
Yes.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up, George Lucas. You shouldn't have done that to kids. You told them
It
racism was not just okay, but
was okay.
appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's fine to do. And just want to go back, like being uncomfortable to have this conversation. We had talked a little bit earlier. I don't want to get too crazy in detail. But like I
I want to
do.
be
It
clear.
does.
I don't think you're a racist.
Yeah.
So you don't have to defend that.
No. I'm not.
Feeling that
I
way at
mean,
all.
in terms of having this conversation, I don't want to go too crazy in depth with it, just because look, we're two white guys talking about something, and my experience is very different because I did grow up in a very predominantly white area, and you didn't.
And I'll
But
say, as a Jewish person, I have had people threaten to murder me and my whole family just for being Jewish. So I have a small amount of being able to identify. Now I pass. You
yeah,
know, people on the street don't know I'm Jewish. I'm not devoutly religious. I still work on Friday after dark. But sorry, I had to hit my computer. But there's a degree of experience there that I've had.
so I grew up there. I grew up as Rockland County, New York, which is anywhere you go. Like I've been to LA, I've been to California, I've been to all these different places in the world. Like the more Orthodox community, they know Rockland County. So if I say, "Oh, I grew up in Rockland County," they go, "Oh, Muncie," which is a predominantly Jewish area. So I grew up in that area with like Muncie and Brooklyn and all of those. So I grew up in that type of environment with not so much an African American community, but very much one Hispanic community as well as a Jewish community. So that's the environment that I come from. So I wouldn't say that I saw racism, but like I still do see like anti-Semitism constantly where
Very
I am.
often that's racial. It is in my regard. I'm Jewish, emphasis on ish, right?
Yeah,
But there are people out there who like they'd fucking kill me. It's weird. It's real weird.
it's 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 I'm not laughing at you. It's ridiculous. Like the
It is
political
ridiculous.
Atmosphere right
You
now
know, what do you do? You
is
laugh or you
fucking
cry.
nuts.
You pick one. I'd choose laughter.
So I want to jump just because this I want to hear
Have we
these
gone
things
into an
and
uncomfortable territory here?
no. So this is not
Solve the
uncomfortable for
problems of
me
the
at
world.
all. But we could sit here and talk for 2 3 hours. I will get two more beers. That's completely fine. Um, but I have other things within the Star Wars universe that I wanted to talk to you about. Uh, First of all, your Jar Jar is.
Mhm. Oh,
I know
you
it. I
mean
just
like
want
my
you to say
character
it.
who's just missing
Yeah,
from the game?
correct.
Okay, I want to before we totally change topics really quick.
Sure,
I want to
100%.
add one little bit about race and Star Wars because I think it's important. I like to joke that Star Wars is the most inclusive game for disabled people because there's so many people who are blind or missing a limb. There's all these
Hmm.
redheads, and redheads, they're not a protected class, but they should be. And if you don't think that's true, ask your redheaded friend how it's like going to the beach, and they will immediately tell you they're disabled. Um, my old roommate was redhead, and like, oh my god, his prep to go to the beach was insane. Like
On the
zinc
way
everywhere.
home, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts, but on my way home, I was listening to Conan O'Brien. So it's just funny to me him as like the most popular redhead in the world. I enjoy his stuff. So I
He's
don't get
great.
it, but I do find it funny when he makes fun of it at least.
He's hilarious. Yeah, but my buddy he doesn't use hair gel, he uses sunscreen. And that's not a joke.
Just throws it
That's
in.
reality. He just sunscreen. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
think I.
yeah. So anyway, so Star Wars is great for disabled people, and the original trilogy, I always felt, was great for race as well, because they included a bunch of like alien species and also different races. Not there was notably one black guy,
Lando,
but
yeah,
no one commented on it at all.
yeah.
That was just who was there, and everybody was cool with it, and it was great. That was like an
He's
ideal society in my mind. Nobody, and that was the rebellion, right? The Empire
yes,
was racist as fuck, And that was an
And they're the bad
unbelievable thing
guys.
of the Empire. You never see an alien with the Empire, right? Unless they're hiring bounty hunters who they immediately say are scum of the earth or the galaxy. So you could see the dichotomy, right? The rebels were very much pro racial integration. They were accepting of everyone. And it just went without saying. And then the Empire is, they're the Nazis, right? It's a very not thinly veiled metaphor. Some of the scenes from the original trilogy are directly based on World War II movies that already existed when Lucas was writing the films. So I thought that was a really interesting commentary on race. And then unfortunately, are you there? You're frozen.
No, I hear you.
And then unfortunately, in the prequels, it was like, nah, this is actually a very racist society. And I'm going to make everything about it racist, and all the planets are their own race, and all the people are their own race, and your race is determined by your job. And Watto is this greedy, hook-nosed, funny hat-wearing guy. Like, it was really fucked up.
Yes.
So, I may have taken some umbrage with that.
Every race in the I mean, and again, I'm looking at it now being in my 30s versus when I actually saw those movies. I was a teenager.
As a kid, you don't see it. As a kid, you're like, this is great. Of course I hate Darth Maul.
Yes, he's evil and he looks mean and he's scary.
That's the
obviously
insidiousness of racism. And that's why I don't want to have it part of my current entertainment. I don't want anyone else to get into a situation where they don't see it. And then 20 years later, when they're talking about how evil the people with red horns are, which I'm just saying that so as I'm not calling around a real race.
I will say
that they meet someone with red horns and like, oh fuck,
When I played Star Wars Galaxies as a teenager, I was a Zabrak, which is the horn race. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly or not, but I was one.
I don't know either. I'm sorry. I never played Galaxies actually.
Oh, I played that for a very long time. It has the best crafting system of any game to date.
I'm a Mac gamer, so I can play the Civilization games, and that's basically it.
So it's funny, like I'm in my office right now. I'm talking to you on a Mac. So I use a Mac for work just because when COVID started, we weren't very technological, and I was using my wife's laptop at first. And then when I needed, I was like, oh, I need my own laptop to do virtual classes. I bought a Mac. But I'm also talking to you from the office where I have like my PC is right here, right? So I've got like my little shrine to Mega Man, which is my one love. And I grew up as a PC gamer. That was my thing. Side note, I think I don't know if you told me about this game specifically, but I know we had a conversation about indie games. Vampire Survivor, were you telling me to get that at some point?
Fucking great game.
I downloaded it 2 weeks ago, and it's like crack. Every morning,
it's the best. The progression curve is unbelievably good.
It was like $5 on Steam, and every morning at 5:45, I wake up, I come down here, my cats are screaming at me because they want attention. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Yeah. Like, I need to play. Calm down.
More eggs for your trouser, man.
I had to let you know that I do buy my little indie games too with whatever. I haven't spent money in this game in a while.
That's right. I'm spending money currently on Game Pass.
For Xbox, right?
I have it for Xbox and PlayStation. Okay. So the PlayStation one is called PS.
PS Plus.
Yeah.
Not sponsored. This is not a commercial.
No. But I got 1,000 games at my fingertips, and I bought 2 games a year, and the price of these are basically 2 games each per year, and I get all the games, and it's fucking great. I got the full EA library with the Xbox, and I got the full Ubisoft library with PlayStation, and I can, it covered the Xbox Gold and PlayStation Plus, just the internet connectivity is included. So I was going to be paying $60 anyway
to buy the games,
70 on top of that. And for me, it makes sense, not everybody can swing that. Obviously, like I have all the gaming consoles.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous and probably too much. I mostly play PlayStation. But Vampire Survivors was included in Xbox Game Pass, which is how I found it. I was like, what's this game? It's free. Fuck it, I'll check it out. And I was like,
I think I played it, before on my phone because I think it's free
It's
on the
free on the
phone.
phone, yeah.
And I was just like, whatever. Because sometimes I just get into this mood where I'm like, I just want to play something stupid. And I think I downloaded it one day and I played it for like a day. But it was, I think, $5 on Steam, and I bought it and like, great. It's been worth my money so far. But I would agree with you. Like, I've always been someone who's owned both consoles. Um, I don't get the gaming war or whatever it is. But I don't have enough time to game anymore. So like I don't have an Xbox right now. I just have the PS5. Um, and I usually have a PS Plus, but because I haven't used it in a while, mine's off right now.
Yeah,
But I'll usually
more
buy
power
like
to
the
you.
annual pass and just go, hey, whatever. If I play 3 games on it, it's fucking worth it.
Yeah, that's me. I actually got it for Stray, the cat game. I
I've
was like,
never
I'll
played
try
it.
it for a month. The game costs $30. A month is $13. I'll just get it for a month. We'll see how it is. And I was like, this is fun. And then I saw how many other games were there that I wanted to play, and I was like, fuck it. I'll just get the year, you know.
I I remember I only know Stray because I had bought Game Pass the or PS Plus rather for the year to play during COVID because my brother lives like 3 hours away, and we don't sleep. And during COVID, neither of us slept. So like I'd wake up at 2 in the morning, completely
Ugh,
awake.
that sucks.
It sucked. Like it really like and I had a treadmill and I was running 10 to 15 miles a day. And I'd watch
Jesus.
Clone Wars. I'd sit on my treadmill watching Clone Wars, just running. But I'd sleep 2 to 3 hours a day. And I'd wake up and I'd play like The Forest or Ark or Age of Conan with my brother. Like we'd get a private server. So I'd bought the PS Plus because he's a PlayStation gamer. And after COVID, not ended, but like things were mostly okay-ish, right? Like sort
Yeah,
of.
that's where we're at.
My wife and I went on our honeymoon to Denver, and my sister was staying in my house watching my cats and just living here, and I got like this notification that someone had downloaded and bought Stray. And I was very confused. And of course, my sister, she's a vet tech, and she has like 3 cats, and so I had to text her. I was like, "Hey, what the fuck is this charge?" And blah blah blah, and whatever it
Right.
is, and it was free. It was PS Plus, but I've never played it. I've heard it was fun. It was
It's
cool.
a
Like it
it's a
was
good story wrapped around a medium game.
okay.
It's but the thing it does well is when you play as the cat, you want to do cat things. You want to climb up on a shelf and knock all the shit off the shelf.
Hmm.
You want to scratch up the rug. Like that stuff they made fun. So like as you're playing, you're just doing cat things because it's fun
Hmm.
and it feels very cat. I don't know how to describe
We
it
we
better.
we have 2 cats, so
So
is
yeah, and they
no, they're
might
not
love
in
it
here.
actually. My dog does not care about screens, but when we made the cat meow, he'd be like, sure. She would be like,
What? Our cats, I'll be at work and my wife will send me videos of my cat watching like Disney movies or like apparently she likes Bluey. I don't know, Bluey's like that blue dog thing.
yeah, yeah,
And
that's
she'll
so
just
funny.
be on the couch watch she'll sit there and watch it. I don't get it. I don't know. But I might I need to get PlayStation Plus again and I might download Stray just because my wife's not a gamer. But she likes games that don't have
So in my
goals, right?
house, yeah, I have a 10-year-old and my wife is a
Okay.
non-gamer. She plays dumb cell phone games on her
Hmm.
cell phone. Not as sophisticated as Star Wars
Like
Galaxy
us,
Heroes,
right?
but
Like
right, not like us. It's true. Yeah.
yeah, it's fine.
Uh, but we are constantly looking for games that we can play as a family. So we got golf with friends where we play
Hmm.
couch co-op where you pass the controller every turn. That's fun. The one we just finished is Frog Detective. This game is stupid. It's a stupid game. The gameplay is awful, but the writing is so fucking top-notch, self-aware. There's
This is
a
funny.
part early on where you're like, oh, we need some dynamite to blow open this cave to see if there's a ghost in there, which I don't want to give a backstory on it. It's not as exciting as it
Hmm.
sounds. And you're like, okay, what do you need for the dynamite? And he's like, some toothpaste, a bowl of spaghetti, a seashell, and a snail. And you go, oh, okay, so just like the normal ingredients of dynamite. And he's like, yeah, just the normal stuff. And the whole
just
game
shows
is stuff
you
like that, where they're like, they do the contrived video game thing, but then all the characters sort of comment on it and play it out.
and know that it's
It's
stupid.
very entertaining that way. And the way we played is my kid drove, and then my
Mhm.
wife voiced the detective, and I voiced all the other characters. Or sometimes we'd switch, and I'd do the detective, and she'd do the other characters. But playing that way, it was
It was a
very,
lot of fun.
especially when there's a lot of characters in a scene all talking, because the whole game is just talk to people, and then occasionally you fetch something, right?
Mhm.
But sometimes when there's a lot of characters in the scene, you have to change voices very quickly. And it was actually like really entertaining. And then the jokes are solid. There's like some funny stuff. And it was a good, I'm gonna say 4 hour playthrough top to bottom. It was fun.
Those are the things that I look for, like, because I play like the big games, right? Like I'm I like physical because I'll buy it for $70 and then I'll
Oh,
sell it a
physical's
week
the
later.
best.
You
The
know, like
worst is like, people who got like the digital Vice City and then suddenly all the songs are gone 3 years later.
yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
that. The songs were like 90% of that game.
No, I'm
You
huge
need
on
the physical. If
huge,
you're gonna buy it,
huge.
buy physical. For sure.
So
Yeah, I
so I
got the
buy
Xbox Series
physical.
S, I got the PlayStation with the disc drive.
I
Exactly
buy
why.
physical so I can sell my shit. Like I bought Mortal Kombat 1. I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. So I bought it. I played through it. I didn't like it as much as the
Fair.
last one. I
Are you
sold it.
teaching your kids that?
I don't at school at the dojo. Yes, 100%, 100%. Um,
Punch
but
them in
but
the
I look.
gooch, rip out their vad. It's awful.
That's exactly what I do with the kids. Um, but I look for games like
That's
that
what I'm
just
saying. Don't
because
teach them that. It's inappropriate.
I have kids from 3 to like 18. So like my 16 to 18 year olds, they know Mortal Kombat and
They can
I'll
turn
joke
into a
with them
dinosaur and
sometimes.
eat the guy in half. Okay.
So we'll do like there's a technique we do, right? Like and it's part of kata, which is forms, which is like our hands are like this, right? And sometimes the
Like
kids
the
will go like
Hadouken.
that,
Yeah.
and I'll make that reference, and when they laugh, I go, oh, thank God, I'm not that old yet. Like at least they get that.
Street Fighter
Um,
still comes out regularly. You're fine. They're just not old enough.
it's true. They're not old enough. They know like Street
You
Fighter
got to give them
Five,
the
and I'm like,
Smash
oh,
Brothers name.
they actually the kids play Smash Brothers nowadays. Still, they
I
play like that
know.
new one. They play like, and I go, oh yeah, Mega Man, he's great. But when I first played Smash Brothers, there were like Game Informer articles about how to get Mega Man, which is bullshit because he wasn't in the game. Um, but I look for like those little gaming experiences like that because like with my wife who's not a gamer, during COVID, like we played Animal Crossing and she really liked it. She
Yeah.
loved playing it. Like that was so much fun for her because there was no goal, there was no pressure. Like she could just build her house and make it look pretty and do whatever. So I try
And
to
that's the
find
thing.
things
My
like
wife
that.
has the same thing. If there's a timer on your action, if you have to time it to something, she fucking hates it.
Yeah.
If you can take your time, step by step, figure out what you want to do, and then do it, she loves that.
Yes. That's and I it's so hard to find things like that we can do together. Like even Animal Crossing, we couldn't really play together. There was a two player, but you couldn't really play together. Like there was
Oop,
so much
hang on one
restriction.
second. Hang on. I'm just going to pause video and mute. Sorry, we just got a new puppy and she pooed on the floor. And so my wife was
Yelling
updating
at
me
you.
on that.
Now you know what you've
Anyway,
made me do.
you were talking
I
about casual games.
so I do enjoy the casual games because I like to play games with her. But I want to inform you that now what I have to do, because I hate hearing my own voice, is I have to actually go into an editor and cut out that 30 seconds. But I'll probably do it on mute. So there'll be like a weird overlap. But it
People
is
have
what it
figured
is.
out anybody who watches YouTube in this day and age is fine with jump cuts.
For the all
It
15
it
people
pains me
that
as a
do.
professional, but that's just how it is.
I don't want it's hilarious to me like doing a video like this because I don't watch YouTube. I hate videos. I don't watch TikTok. I don't watch Instagram Reels. I can't watch videos. My wife will send them to me and I'll be like, I'm not gonna watch that, right? Like I'm not. I can't do it. It's not interesting to me. Um but
I'll do a
but
podcast all day, but yeah, I probably wouldn't watch a YouTube video.
well so that's the thing.
I
Like
watch some, I just don't want people talking. I'll listen to it.
I do want to look into being able to do that with this, and I think I can easily do it because Zoom saves it that way. I love podcasts. I love listening to them. My friend had me. He wanted to do a bad books podcast, and he wanted to start with Atlas Shrugged. I don't know if you've ever read Atlas Shrugged. It's 1,000 pages. It's libertarian bullshit.
Yeah, Ayn Rand's make believe fever dream. Yeah, it's great.
It's awful. He was like, "Hey man, can you help me out? Like, I really want to do this." And I said, "You know, you're a great friend. I've known you for 30 years. Like, sure, I'll try." At the time, I was reading like 2 books a month. I stopped reading for a while after reading this book because I started hating reading. But I also have a Google Drive with 110 pages of
It's a terrible
notes.
book, man.
It's an like I have
Yeah, I mean,
so
no
many
real people
pages of
behave that way
notes.
at all.
But like I did that with him, and we'd get like really drunk and we'd like talk for 2 hours on a Zoom, and I don't think he ever even released it, but I don't like, it was fun to do. And that was the purpose here. Like, I don't care if 10 people watch this, 20 people watch this, 1,000 people watch this. It doesn't matter to me. Like, what matters to me is, one, I like talking to people, which I think a lot of people don't realize. And two, I want to get different perspectives from different people and be like, hey, you know, like, we're all people. Like, disagree, curse, I don't care, but stop like personally attacking people, because that, like, it's fucked up. Like, it's stupid. Like, we're not 12. So
Yeah, you know, and also you got to learn to toughen up, and you only do that with people.
when you talk to people. So you've spent the last like 20, 30, 40, 50, I don't
Are
even
you
know.
there? Did I lose you?
No,
You
I got you
disconnected
here.
after that joke? It was that bad?
Yeah, it was awful.
Oh boy, I lost
No.
Egnards.
Oh no. Do you hear me?
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Good. Oh,
Yeah,
see,
my
now
internet just went real poo.
now I gotta
I
cut
gotta
that
I gotta
shit
wrap
out
it up
too.
because I gotta help my wife. So maybe 5 more minutes.
All right, so here's what I want.
I will
Last
say,
five
but
minutes.
I'm gonna interrupt
Go
you
ahead.
real quick. In the future, you ever want to talk video games or want recommendations? I professionally tested video games for 13 years. I was the lead tester on like Ultimate Spider-Man and Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1. Um, you know, 20 years ago. But I have a lot of experience in games. I play games all the time. I know we talked about like indie games and these sort of like very ultra casual games tonight, but like I fucking wreck it, Warzone DMZ. Like I was the shit at that, dude. I ruined a lot of people's days.
What I'm gonna tell you right now, with 4 minutes, whatever amount of minutes left. Number one, PlayStation Plus, remind me, because the first thing I'm gonna do when I open that door is go grab another beer, hang out with my wife for a little bit, and I'll forget because my memory's shit.
Don't worry
Message
about
me
it.
on Discord. We got to be friends on PlayStation.
Okay,
Maybe
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
find something that we can play. Number two, you've neglected to tell me or the two people that tuned in this far your exclusion from the game. I know what it is. We've talked about this, but I want to hear it.
Oh, the character that needs to be in the game. Yeah, good point. Forlom deserves to be in the game, and Zuckus, but Forlom is the one I care about. I want that droid. And there is a droid that looks like Forlom that's also in season 2 of The Mandalorian, who was the pilot when they do the prison break. And
Yes.
you know, you could bring that droid in also. You could do a whole series of whatever type of droid Forlom is supposed to be. But all the original bounty hunters should be in the game, man. It's crazy. And Dengar needs the punishing one, and all that.
Which I thought we were getting like a year
Hang
ago.
on, I got a show and tell here. This guy, can you see this?
Yes, I can.
So this is a plaque I got for finishing in 8th place in the California regional tournament for the Star Wars collectible card game when I was in high school.
Because you're a
And
nerd.
I keep it because I'm a fucking nerd. But that was, you know, I was just a kid, and there were grown ass adults who told me I should fucking die in a fire because they didn't like how my deck played. One guy literally threatened to kill everyone, and because Columbine had it happen at that point, we laughed. If that happened
Because
today,
school
we'd have
shootings weren't a thing
closed the
anymore
tournament.
at
That
the
would have
time.
been it.
So you've won that,
But
but
so I won that, but so a huge amount of my Star Wars knowledge is from the cards from that game. They have a picture of the character, it describes who they are and like where their relation in the world is, and like a ton of stuff. They did a really good job just opening up the movies, and everybody here's who this character is, and here's their breakdown. Here's who Dr. Evazan is. Here's who Ponda Baba is. None of these characters are even named in the movie, but they opened it up with the card game, and that really expanded my knowledge. And Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes has done the same to me. I never watched the Rebels show, although I've heard it's good and I should. I just haven't had time yet.
me
But I
neither.
know who the Rebels are now because of the game, and I know they
Yeah.
suck balls and everyone hates them. So
Not anymore. Not since
not
Captain
anymore.
Rex.
Now that Captain Rex is
Um,
back. Yeah.
but I know you got to go. I appreciate your time.
Sorry
We got
about
to do
that.
this again, whether on camera, off camera, Discord, doesn't matter.
Yeah, this is fun. I'd love to.
Just being people that talk constantly anyway. I appreciate your time. Thank you. That's
Yeah,
it.
man.
Thank you.
Message me on Discord anytime. And if you want to do another one of these, like, we got to schedule in advance because sometimes I'm busy, but I'd love to. This is fun.
The only reason I didn't have to this time is because it's my week off from school.
Fair enough.
So I'm like, let me talk to a bunch of people. But I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hey, pleasure.